Alright, so welcome back to my team career mode. Today, we're going to Monza, the Temple of Speed. We are still looking for my second points finish result of the season. As you can see, we've got that P7 at Imola and then hovering around the P15, P16 area. Monza is actually quite a good track for me, so I'm hoping it can bring some fortunes to myself. Life hasn't started brilliantly for my new teammate, Teo Pourchaire. Of course, Nico Hulkenberg decided to bugger off, and, well, Teo Pourchaire is the only other driver I could afford. Back-to-back DNFs, both mechanical failures, is, less than ideal, to put it lightly. I'm hoping that at Monza, not only can Teo perform a little bit better, but also the car, you know, I hope it can stay in one piece for like 15 laps at least would be quite nice. So let's not waste any more time and get straight into good old quali. Let's have it. Alrighty then, welcome to qualifying. Let's take a look at these initial lap times. We have Oscar Piastri leading the way, a 1 minute 17.9 ahead of his teammate. Of course, we don't really care about the top, we care about the bottom. Of course, Teo Pourchaire is going to be last, but how far last is he is the question. Half a second. Good, okay, that's actually 5.5 tenths. Yeah, that's quite large, really. So Teo Pourchaire set a lap time of a 1 minute 19.3. So that's the lap time that we're going for. And well, it's not looking too hopeful, is it? If Teo is, you know, half a second off Logan Sargent, oh, I don't know. As always, if you're enjoying the series and, you know, you're feeling generous in the, you know, festive spirits of December, why not consider subscribing to the channel? I'm grinding for 1.5k by the end of the year, and let's see how we get on this first lap. It's been quite a while since I've driven around Monza. I'm going to be a little bit on the rusty side, so I'm just going to set the target of not crashing. I think that's a good place to start. Now, to begin the lap, I'm going to go and use quite a lot of overtake, because you only really use it down 2 straights. Turn 1, on a little bit early on the brakes, but that's fine. Of course, I'm going to be doing a second run. This is just to learn the track, and, you know, maybe I could drop an absolute masterclass in my first run. Sometimes I do, you just never know. Now into turn 3, I'm going to be only 800ths down on Esteban Ocon. That's actually not too bad. Bad news is, though, it's Sector 2 where I lose most of my lap times in, like, any series. Got a little bit wide on the first Lesmo, not really what you want to see. Second Lesmo was a pretty nice exit, though. DRS on. We'll go down to about 25% on the overtake. That should do us until the end of the lap. Now we go into the Ascari chicane. I've lost about 2.5 tenths, which still isn't awful. I'm still considerably up on Teo Pourchaire, I think. What was his lap time? I don't even remember. Wasn't it like a 19.7? I genuinely don't remember. But in we go to the best corner on the track, the best corner on the calendar, the Parabolica. Just because it's a funny name, it's called Bolica. And we cross the line. We set a 1 minute 19 dead. We're always going to be 21st. I feel like even getting P20 or P19 is, you know, a miracle in itself. But the good news is we are, you know, quite a way ahead of Teo. About 2.5 to 3 tenths. I think he did a 19.3. So, honestly, not too bad. As Robert Mike Mistletoe leaves the party. Tragic. Taking a look at the sector time. So I was, like I said, 3 tenths up on Teo Pourchaire. My Sector 1 is about a tenth away from being very good. My Sector 2 about 2 tenths. My Sector 3 is about there. So if I can just find a bit more time in Sector 2, which I should be able to do, considering my run through the first lesson was a bit stinky, I don't think I'm going to be able to get a P20. That's nearly 3 tenths of a second, not even including the improvement that Logan Sargent finds, as Teo Pourchaire goes and finds a 19 dead and actually goes ahead of me. So, scratch trying to beat Logan Sargent. I need to go back out there and try and beat my teammate again. And here we go. Let's absolutely cook on this lap. Let's do it. Round the parabolic to begin the lap. Not the greatest exit of the corner. That might compromise me a little bit down the main straight. DRS enabled and kabooey. And we are away. Let's do it. Now I need to brake a little bit later into turn 1. I'm going to be brave. Very brave. Yeah, that was pretty good. Oh, that was almost perfect. Turning the wheel as quick as I possibly can. Get on the exit. Use a bit more overtake, and I'm off. That was a very nice run. Through turn 1 and 2. Already a 10th and a half up. Quality stuff by FUTcrim. Now into turn 3, I need to be careful to not go into the gravel as I go into the gravel, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Now I need to lock in and make sure I actually have a good run through the first Lesmo. It's still not the best run, but it's definitely better than my first time through there. And then I go... Why do I have to do this to myself? I always have a, like, you know... On my first lap, I had a really bad run through Lesmo 1 and a really good one through Lesmo 2. This time it was the opposite. Now into the Ascari chicane, I think that was track limits, but... You know, how am I even 3 tenths up still? I've had a really awful sector 2. I'm quite disappointed in myself. There was a lot more time left in the locker. We go into the Parabolica. Going to be a bit more heavy on the brakes. Get the exit in. That was actually a lot better than my first run. We put the overtake on. So I do manage to find 3 tenths of a second to put an 18.8 in, which is actually not too bad. I reckon there was another 2 tenths in that at least, but all that matters to me is, number 1, I've out-qualified Teo Pourchaire. Number 2, what was the gap to P20? If it's anything more than 2 tenths, I won't really care too much. I care quite a lot, actually. That is, you know, a tenth and 30 milliseconds away from qualifying P19. I could have very easily found a tenth and a half through Sector 2 because I completely messed up the Ascari chicane and Lesmo 2. You know, luckily we are at Monza. It's one of the best tracks, maybe the best track for overtaking. It's got the double DRS zones. It's got the nice long straights, the hard braking zones. I reckon going into the race, we can cook. Maybe. Also, a good little comeback redemption from Teo Pourchaire. You know, we went from half a second away from Logan Sargent to only about, you know, 2 and a bit tenths. That's not a bad effort by Teo, and obviously only a tenth and a bit away from me. Not bad. Into the race, on the back row of the grid once again, and to be honest, I feel like I should say it, there's nothing else I can really do to enhance our car's performance. I feel like we will be at the back of the grid for the rest of this season, maybe even the next season, because I don't generate enough resource points to out-resource the rest of the team. So every time I get an upgrading, which is like once every 4 races, the AI teams have already brought in about like 2 or 3 upgrades, so the gap just gets larger and larger. We are so far behind the next worst team. It's immaculate. I've even shut down facilities like durability and marketing to try and give us a bit more cash to spend on like other facilities, and it's not really working out. You know, we're gonna grind, we're gonna pull through, but once again on the back row of the grid. And here we go then for the Italian Grand Prix of 2025. I'm looking forward to this. I love driving around Monza. I really do. If I could have a season of my team career mode that's just 16 races at Monza, I would do it. I love this track to bits. It's a shame that my quali was a bit disappointing. Could have qualified as high as P19, I know. Crazy territory that we're entering. P19, the second to last row. You're taking the absolute piss, aren't you? That is outrageous, but I could have. But still, we go into the race. A decent start could see us get up to, you know, where I could have been, P18, P19, P20. And of course, depending on the race pace and the strategy, we could go and finish like a P15 or a P16, do you know what I mean? You just don't know. The strategy for today, I'm going to keep it nice and simple. I usually spend about 2 to 3 minutes, you know, talking and changing the strategy, making it as, you know, fast as possible, even though it usually doesn't work out that way. I'm just going to leave it as it is. I feel like, you know, we can stop a lap earlier, stop a lap later. To be honest, the lap times don't really change. As you can see on the mediums, we go from a 22 something, and then it ends like a tenth slower. Same with the hards. It gets like a tenth faster. It's not really worth it. So I reckon we might be able to stop a lap earlier, but realistically, I don't think the undercut's going to be very powerful. I reckon the overcut might actually be better, so I might even stop a lap later. But we'll see how we get on during the race. So 19 laps ahead of us at Monza. I think this has got the materials, the ingredients for a cracking race. So let's get started. Oh, for crying out loud, I am 1.5 seasons into this game, and I still have forgot, I don't remember to turn the formation lap off. And here we go. Let's rev up the car, get it nice and warm. I'm going to go on a bit on the low RPM side for this race start. And we are away. Very nice reaction time. Trying to keep wheel spin to a minimum. I'm all over the shop though, and Teo Pourchaire is just gone. I don't know why my starts are so horrendous on this game. We go into turn 1. Teo Pourchaire is going to be fighting Lance Stroll. That's very brave. All the way down to 60 kph. Maybe round the outside of Stroll, it'll move on. No, and I'm already way behind Stroll. Okay. If anyone knows why my race starts are always so bad, my main issue is that my car either bottoms out or I have massive wheel spin and oversteer in like gear 5 and it's like really bad. Alright, so I'm hoping that, you know, I can sort of stick to Stroll, and then when lap 2 starts and the AI stop using all their hot lap and, you know, their overtake and ERS, that's when I can make a bit of a comeback. My straight line speed should be very competitive, but I'll have to wait and see. There's a bit of a scrap going on up ahead. Lance Stroll looking for a move on Teo Pourchaire. That could invite me to go and get past them both. Car already looking a bit squirrely, but it's not too bad. And we cross the line to complete lap 1, and another race where on lap 1 I lose places. Now here's where my straight line speed, I reckon, is going to be very good, but unfortunately Lance Stroll's going for it on Teo Pourchaire, so I can't really go for a move unless I go for a switchback on Lance Stroll. Not going to happen, unfortunately. Let's get the overtake on, go down to about 40%. Now I'm going to hope that the hot lap can carry me along to the point where I can dive bomb Lance Stroll into turn 3. I definitely can at this distance. Here we go. Teo, please move. Teo, move. Teo, move. Teo, stop blocking me. Block Lance Stroll. Jeez Louise, mate. Which team are you fighting for? What an absolute tosspot. That was very dangerous for my Teo Pourchaire. He decided to cover me off rather than Stroll. But we do make the move up to P21. DRS now enabled. Teo Pourchaire doesn't have DRS. This should invite me to go for a move to the Ascari chicane, do a little switcheroo-skis, late on the brakes. See you later, Teo. You're an absolute bell end. Lovely stuff. Up to P20, car feels lovely, and we now have to, you know, spend the next couple of straights trying to recover to get back within a second of Logan Sargent. Alright, well, that was a lot easier than I imagined. I'm already back within a second. Straight into turn 1, the AI having a nice good old scrap. That allowed me to catch right back up, so that's excellent news. It also allowed me to save my ERS, and I didn't have to use any. And I can really fight from here. The field spread is really low. You know, the gaps are still all tight between us all the way up to P2, which means with my straight line speed, I can probably start picking off these cars like once a lap down the main straight. I just need the ERS for it, which, you know, I've got 60. That's not too bad, really. Alright, here we go. Let's see what my straight line speed is looking like. DRS enabled, hot lap enabled. We're going to go up to 340. Oh, this is scary. 350. Can I go for a move down the inside of Logan Sargent? No, I braked way too early. There was actually a move on there, but yeah, way too early on the brakes, to be honest. That has absolutely done me in, but whew, this car is fast in a straight line. I was approaching 360 kph, which is just absolutely preposterous, I must say. Outrageous levels of speed. Oh, I am definitely feeling move on this occasion. I've got a bit more ERS in the locker. Here we go. Oh, this is fast. Oh, I'm scared. 355. Round the outside of Sargent. Come on then, let's have your son. Into turn 1. Oh, yes, I am so in there. Go on. Round turn 2. Get the exit. Go. Stick it in there. Overtake on. 2. What a move, and I'm not done. I'm absolutely not finished. Esteban Ocon right ahead of me. Can I go for it? Oh, you bet I can. I am so going for it. Round the outside of Ocon. Out of nowhere. Keep it on the track. Get the exit. Boom! What a move by FUTcrim. Now, can I not lose DRS? Please, I really need DRS. Okay, yeah, I've got it. Lovely. Whew. So I've made 2 places up in 2 corners. We have a yellow flag up ahead. I think it's the Ferrari. It might have been a Ferrari. Who are you? No, it's the Sauber of Magnussen. Never mind, it was just the Ferrari getting overtaken. They weren't actually pulling over. So that's another place gain. Now up to P17. But yeah, 2 places in 1 sector, and I managed to keep DRS, which is absolutely huge. That should mean that I am at no threat from being overtaken as long as I use a bit of my hot lap ERS. But yeah, car feeling like incredible. You know, very grippy, very sticky, and I'm loving it. The exact thing that I said was going to happen is happening. The field spread is extremely low. As you can see, we're on lap 7, and there is like a 3-second gap from me until P3. What that means is that I can just overtake the AI like once or twice a lap and just slowly climb my way up the field. Like, this could actually be a potential points finishing race. I mean, I'm 6 places away, and all of my competitors are directly ahead of me, and I've got a better straight line speed than all of them. However, driving on the grass probably isn't going to help me achieve points, but it's actually very possible. Alright, here we go. We approach lap number 9, which is the lap that I'm going to be stopping. I am undecided whether I'm actually going to stop yet. My tyres are looking okay on the right, pretty horrible on the left. Is there a move into turn 1 on Ricciardo? Not quite. I feel like I need to be a bit braver here. I reckon that if I actually use a lot more overtake and I actually send it like Ricciardo would, I feel like I could probably get past a few cars very easily, but yeah, I am going to stop on this lap. I don't think it's a reason to stay out for another one. There's no real benefit of doing that, so yep, this is in lap, so we're going to turn the hot lap ERS on. So my in lap is as fast as possible. We'll do the same for the out lap so that I have the best chance to, you know, have a good lap time and maybe undercut someone if anyone stays out, but I do reckon most of the field are going to stop. But this is also another good thing about the field spread being low. Of course, only one driver per team can stop because the gap isn't big enough to double stack, and the AI don't double stack in this game. So only half the grid are going to pit this lap, meaning the rest of the grid are going to pit on the lap after. Here comes Ocon. Can you not try and overtake me? I'm trying to talk at the minute, mate. So what I'm thinking, I go into the pits, I make my pit stop, have a good outlap. I might be able to undercut my way, you know, up a lot of places. So in we go, into the pits. We must go. E-I-E-I-E-I-O. Oh, oh. Lovely stuff. Can we, you know, I'm going to hope for a good stop. That usually doesn't happen, knowing my luck. What we feeling today, boys? Well, no. Well, I'm not being funny here, G, but what's happened there is I've had a really good stop, and then the game has just not put me into the gap between Alonso and Ocon. So I've actually lost a place there, even though my pit stop was really, really quick. Brilliant. Okay, top stuff. Out on the hard tyres. Now, in yesterday's video, in my House to Glory at Bahrain, the hard tyres failed me miserably. They were about 2 seconds slower than anyone else. So I'm hoping that today at Monza in my team, they're feeling all right. Alright, and as you can see, the rest of the field are now stopping, except one of the Ferraris, and my outlap has been... it's been okay. An actual positive here is that Ocon doesn't have DRS, and I will, so I should be able to blitz past him without really any issue, and of course that gives you a massive speed boost down the straight. You can see everyone exiting the pits now. Oh, this is going to get absolutely... this is going to be an absolute mess. Esteban Ocon completely cuts me off. And what a move! Late on the brakes. Keep it together. Hold it. Okay, I've lost a place. That was very, very scary. That oversteer was absolutely outrageous and should never happen in a Formula 1 car. I'm going to go around the outside of Alex Albon. And this is a move to potentially get me up to P13. And he's managed it. And then who's this? The other Alpine of Gasly. He's off the track. Through goes FUTcrim. Oh, wow. I don't even know how many cars I just overtook, but it was numerous. And I am now up to P12. Wow. That's really, really cool. And I'm only 1.4 seconds off points. Holy moly. Is there a potential move on down the inside of Alonso? I reckon there is, you know. No, never mind. That was almost the latest of the brake manoeuvres ever seen in Formula 1 history. Alex Albon gets past Pierre Gasly as well. Decent move by him. And there is a very nice scrap going up ahead. We've got Alonso, Norris, and Tsunoda all fighting for P9 to P11. If they go wheel to wheel, I can get right in there and maybe overtake some of them. I will have to deploy my tactic of staying behind one of them for most of the race and then overtaking them on the final lap, so I get the DRS and dragged along the entire time. But of course, I need to actually get there first before I can actually deploy said tactic. But like I said, Lando Norris does that, scrapping with Yuki Tsunoda into the Ascari chicane. That allows me to get right in there. As you can see, I am now right up the arrows of Fernando Alonso on the exit of the Ascari, and now there should be a chance into the Parabolica. Tsunoda goes to the inside, Fernando Alonso goes to the inside, I go around the outside, maybe a little switcheroo action going on. Not gonna happen. 35% ERS remaining. I'm gonna go down to about 25, and who hasn't got DRS? Wait, yeah, obviously it's Lando Norris. Duh. Here's Yuki Tsunoda. Oh, I can so go for a move around the outside here, but I've got to be careful of Alonso on the braking. Don't want to ram him up the arse. So that hasn't really gone well. Maybe a little switch back down the inside. Nope, not going to happen. Cool, these two are making overtaking extremely difficult. Fernando Alonso around the outside of Tsunoda, and Tsunoda's run out of battery. So, see you later, G. And we're not done here. Hello, Alonso. No, I can't do that. That hasn't gone to plan. Alonso's going to go back by because, you know, I'm a fair driver around these parts. Actually, not horrible. I will now have DRS on Alonso. Alonso won't have DRS, I think. Yeah, he won't. So, realistically, I can now just stay behind Alonso because Norris is just going to clear off into the distance. I can just stay behind Alonso, get dragged along so I don't lose any places to Tsunoda, and then on the final lap of the race, get past Alonso and take home a points finish. That's the plan anyway. 3 laps remain in this race, and I'm not entirely sure what's happened, but my car has fallen off massively. I'm starting to really struggle on the exits of corners, and I am struggling to stick with Alonso and keeping Alex Albon behind. As you can see, I'm all the way down to 25% ERS. I've had to use a fair chunk, you know, in order to keep Alex behind and stay with Fernando. I reckon I can still employ my tactic, but it's going to come down to the wire, and it will probably take, you know, an absolute dive bomb of a century to actually get the move done. Also, I might have to go for the move into turn 1 on the penultimate lap, because as you can see, there is a mighty scrap going on up ahead between Lando Norris and some of the cars ahead. I think there's a Red Bull, there's a Mercedes, there's an Aston Martin in there as well, and they're going to keep scrapping hard, and I reckon I can probably get close to them if they scrap even harder into turn 1. So I know it's a bit risky considering, you know, if I don't have DRS down the main straight on the final lap, it might be a bit ropey, but I might go for it now. That's if I even can. I'm going to put the ERS on, DRS on. Here's Fernando Alonso down the inside, switch it to the outside, proper lateage on the breakage, round turn 1 into turn 2, keep it together. Okay, we're still going, and now I can deploy the speed and power of the FUTcrim PG Tips F1 car. Oh, that's very close. We're going to go down the inside into turn 3. How are we still going wheel to wheel? Okay, there we go. I have the place. And look at that. Lando Norris is just ahead of me. My plan is working, you know, to a T. This is going incredibly well. I am now within DRS of Lando Norris, which means I should be immortal from being overtaken by Alonso. Absolutely top tactics by FUTcrim. And as you can see, Fernando Alonso not even close. There's his teammate, Nico Hulkenberg, going for a move on one of the Red Bulls, I believe. That's going to close me right up to Lando Norris going into the final lap of this race. It's a crying shame that I don't have a lot of overtake on me, because if I did, I could probably blitz past a good 2 or 3 of these lot. But we go into the final corner to start the final lap of this race, and I have really struggled around the Parabolica on this, you know, last sort of 5 or 6 laps. And here we go, DRS enabled, hot lap ERS on. Now I just need to hope I've got the straight line speed. Come on. Oh, you better believe I do. And what am I witnessing in front of me? Hold up, wait, I can make something big off this. Maybe, potentially, possibly. No? Okay, never mind. I just saw them go nearly 5 wide into turn 1. That was absolutely bonkers. Maybe a move on Lando Norris in turn 3. I'm feeling like it. Down the inside. I've crashed into Perez. Sorry, Perez. But I've got the move done on Lando. Up to P9, and I'm not even done yet. I am not done in the slightest. There is still one more DRS zone left. I don't know what kind of straight line speed I'm going to have, considering I've got, like, no overtake left. But let's see about it. What can I do? Can I even get close? No, I'm actually going to have to defend from Lando Norris. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. I just go around the outside. Leclerc wins at Monza for Ferrari. I go around the Ascari chicane. Come on, then. Oh, I've still got a bit of overtake left. Not a lot. Do I even have enough? Come on. Max Verstappen's really slow. Round the outside of both the Red Bulls. Into the Parabolica. Ah, I've gone wide. I've gone very wide. I'm back on. Oh, come on. Let's go. Oh, wow. What a final lap. Overtaking both the Red Bulls on the final corner. And, you know, lap 18, I was P10. End of the race, he's only up to P7, and to be honest, there was a little bit more in there as well. Like I said, if I had a lot more overtake, which, to be honest, I only lost because I bottled turn 1 and 2 really bad, so I had to use a lot of overtake to catch back up to Fernando Alonso. If I had overtake at the end there, I probably could have overtaken another 2 or 3 of those cars and get up to like P4 or 5, but that is exactly what I was saying about the field spread. Because everyone's so close together and constantly scrapping, it allows me, a real human, to take advantage of the AI and go and get an outrageous, you know, race result. And here's the ending, finishing, screen scores, results board. Whew! P21 to P7. What a drive. Do you know what I mean? Lovely stuff. Ferrari get a 1-2 at Monza. That's actually really cool. Carlos Sainz P4 to P2. Good drive by him. Nico Hülkenberg as well, P10 to P6. Of course, my ex-teammate, who I now hate because he left the team. Although, to be fair, he's had an absolute, you know, worldie of a move, because he's gone from the worst team on the grid and now he's getting like P6s. Meanwhile, the driver that he, you know, swapped with is down in P21, who finished, you know, 4.7 seconds off Jack Doohan. And was last. So Jack Doohan's career for us so far has been DNF, DNF, last. But of course, that's where the car is at the moment. The only reason I got anywhere near as high as I did is because A, I'm a human. I can improvise. 2, I have extremely good straight line speed. That's the only reason. We take a look at the standings. I will now elevate myself ahead of Teo. Wow, so obviously those points that Teo scored was back when he was at Aston Martin, and I've had 2 P7s this season, and I'm now ahead of him. Wow, and I'm only 2 points away from my teammate. That's actually really good. Not a bad effort from the boys. In the constructors, of course, Hülkenberg hasn't scored any points for us, and Teo hasn't with his time with us, so only my points count. It's going to be 12. We're only 3 points away, or sorry, not 3. Basic maths. We're only 5 points away from RB, and then we're 9 points away from Alpine. Quite a big gap, considering points are very rare, but you never know, to be honest. You just don't. I mean, P8 is already pretty good. So, that was an incredibly fun race. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you lot in the next video of mine. Ta-da!